I think it's on this Quentin Tarantino podcast where it comes up the dialogue in the beginning of Reservoir Dogs and the Madonna conversation,
Yeah.
and it's actually ripped off of Steven and Jeff.
I tried to get Quentin to do an interview and he turned me down. And I was just talking about this with Jeff and Steve the other day, and Jeff was like, he didn't know that I had tried, and he was kind of like, he's like, I can't believe that. Like, of all the people in the movie, the person I probably spent the most time talking to is Quentin. Like, um, Jeff hung out at that Video Archives video store, getting the same kind of film education that Quentin was getting because they were both sort of studying at the feet of the owner of that store. I mean, Jeff and Steve were watching Russ Meyer films before anyone was, and a lot of that. Chuck Kelly, who worked there and was really good friends with Quentin, tells a couple. First he's like, Natural Born Killers is the first script that Quentin writes. Steve is dating Sofia Coppola at the time, and Quentin evidently asked Chuck, like, hey, would you maybe ask Steve and Sophia if they would think about like being in the script that I wrote? And Chuck's like, yeah, right, loser. Like they're like, yeah, like Steve McDonald and Sophia Coppola are going to be in your stupid movie, Quentin. Like, I don't think so. Like that would be embarrassing for me to ask. Yeah, in Pulp Fiction, like I've been told by several people that in the original draft, there's a scene where Quentin wrote, like, that the music that's playing is Blow You a Kiss in the Wind by Redd Kross. And Chuck, who was, I think, sort of his music supervisor for the movie, or one of them was, he says that like the studio thought that recording was just sort of too lo-fi sounding, and that's why they used Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon by Dirge Overkill instead. The Redd Kross guys are just kind of like, we could have re-recorded it. We could have. And then, Quentin sang Blow You a Kiss in the Wind on Saturday Night Live. Like, those are all those Redd Kross, like, Quentin connections. And yeah, I hadn't heard that thing about the opening of Reservoir Dogs, but I totally believe it. I'm sure they're not like super eager to cop to having provided that exact
Right.
like a virgin run.